Hi everyone, my name is Adam, and I'm a product lead for a suite of automated solutions here at Google. I'm excited to be speaking to everyone for our Think Retail event this year. I hope you find this session helpful, as we'll be chatting more about tactics than features, and giving love to those who were or are using smart shopping to drive their retail media efforts. In my section, I'll be covering all the various tactics that carry over from smart shopping campaigns and what are new to Performance Max. I'm also joined by my colleague Philippe, who will cover how to prepare for seasonal peaks, whether they're holidays this winter or promo periods specific to your business. We'll also be diving deep on the tactics new to Performance Max. Just a level set on what is Performance Max, it is a cross-channel automated campaign type that uses the best features from each channel to drive retail performance and maximize performance within a given target or budget. It's a goal-based campaign that is full funnel and serves across the best inventory on Google Ads using the best automated features. Performance Max can help marketers navigate complex retail media landscapes to help drive performance through automation, but it can also help retailers drive their specific goals with its wide range of features and customization. Whether you are driving online sales, focusing on new customers, bidding towards omni-channel sales performance, or exclusively driving store goals, there are various ways to utilize Performance Max to achieve this. Users of our Smart Shopping campaign have already enjoyed this concept of a cross-channel portfolio bidding with several formats, and Performance Max takes it to the next level with more of our core performance formats and their automated features, and delivers even better results than both Smart Shopping and regular shopping campaigns. And what is that lift? Well, for campaigns that upgrade from Smart Shopping to Performance Max, we see a 12% uplift of conversion value at a same or better ROAS. For advertisers coming from standard shopping, they'll see a lift of 46% conversion value at a same or better ROAS. Beyond some of the other tactics we'll cover shortly, the performance gains advertisers have seen when shifting either their standard or smart shopping campaigns over to Performance Max helps retailers achieve their growth goals. And how does Performance Max with the product feed achieve better results than smart or standard shopping campaigns? In addition to shopping to display formats with Smart Shopping, Performance Max with the feed adds search text, discovery, YouTube in-stream, and Maps inventory, as well as their respective creative formats for each. We'll cover these solutions in detail later on, but also included our additional levers of bid strategies, targeting options, audience and insights, and more that will help retailers better achieve their goals. As a previous digital marketer, I understand that our products and features are only useful with our advertisers and partners at the helm. A lever, no matter how majestic it is, will remain just a lever unless someone uses it. Part of the joy I receive from my role is helping our advertisers navigate our solutions and map it with either their existing tactics or help them develop new ones. I also love hearing new tactics developed by our advertisers and how to help them further along to encourage growth. Understanding that, something that I think will be helpful for the migration from Smart Shopping to Performance Max campaigns will be understanding which tactics carry over as is from Smart Shopping campaigns, as well as our thoughts on what new tactics we expect to see with Performance Max. Before I begin, I just want to stress that don't worry about utilizing some of these new tactics right away. We understand some of our advertisers might need more time to prepare assets or point of views on these new tactics and solutions. You'll still see the potential performance relative to Smart Shopping campaigns, even if you don't utilize tactics new to Performance Max. First off, with seasonality, the bulk of tactics from Smart Shopping campaigns carry over. In other words, what holiday or ad hoc promo tactics you did with Smart Shopping campaigns, for the most part, will also apply to Performance Max, such as when to use seasonality adjustments, seasonal bid and budget best practices, GMC feed promo best practices and optimization, seasonal campaign structure, as well as flighted campaigns. What's new to Performance Max, though, could be testing out seasonal asset group strategies, such as promo or seasonal assets for specific products. Philippe has a section dedicated to seasonality best practices overall, since we know this is timely given the Q4 holidays coming up. Moving on to creatives, we still have best practices for your product feed, such as images and titles optimization. The tactics you had for your display image assets on Smart Shopping campaigns also carry over for the most part, and although this feature wasn't widely as used, there was the ability to upload videos to Smart Shopping for our display network, and those best practices carry over as well. What's new to Performance Max, though, for creative assets include optimizing search descriptions, headlines, and ad extensions, optimizing video assets and other in-stream best practices, using the asset strength report to understand what assets are not driving as much incremental lift and potentially swapping them out with different assets, as well as leveraging the audience insights for assets report to better understand what creatives resonate with specific customers or audiences. For bidding and budgets, all these tactics carry over as well, such as value bidding optimization and best practices, target adjustment strategies and budget best practices, conversion value rule strategies, the use of performance planner, and optimizing to new and existing customers with account-level new customer acquisition values. What is exciting are some major new bidding features to Performance Max. We now have non-value-based bidding for Performance Max, just target CPA and maximize conversions, a first for shopping smart bidding, but we still see better value lift with value-based strategies. For advertisers that want new customers, they have even more options with Performance Max, such as the ability to optimize only to new customers and their actual values. And for advertisers that want to balance both new and existing customers, they can assign new customer values down to the campaign level. This allows more flexibility with driving new customers for specific products. And for advertisers who want more control over budgets and targets, for new and existing customers, they can structure as such with campaigns to have additional levers. Moving on to structure and other optimization tactics, for your campaign structure strategies, those also carry over for the most part. Reminder that you should not overlap the same product between multiple Performance Max campaigns, and that held true for Smart Shopping. Tactics for zombie SKUs or products that get 0 impressions also carry over. When to use data exclusions, such as incorrectly reporting conversion data for a brief period of time, and all things related to optimization score, the recommendations tab, and auto-apply recommendations carry over from Smart Shopping. What's new to Performance Max, though, includes asset group structuring strategies by product, such as seasonal or categorical assets. Our diagnostics report is also a new feature that should be baked into tactics. URL expansion is something we recommend for more growth, and you have the ability to keep it open for the most lift, or target specific URLs with exclusions. And to make URL expansion work well, we recommend improving site crawlability and content, which should also boost your SEO efforts. For brand safety and first-party data, placement and content exclusion tactics carry over if you used them in the past with Smart Shopping. This is powered by the placement report. Query Insights also carries over, although that was pretty new to Smart Shopping campaigns, so it kind of feels new to Performance Max as well. And ensuring you have robust first-party data to help out automation, such as RLSA and customer match lists. What's new to Performance Max includes the ability to tell us to factor in an audience list as a signal to bids. Smart Shopping campaigns automatically chose the best performing lists, but Performance Max allows advertisers to tell us what first-party data to use to guide bids, and these are applied at the asset group level. From a brand safety lens, negative keywords will soon launch externally, and digital content labels are also available. For measurement and privacy, we want to ensure we're using the best attribution models in Google Ads, such as data-driven attribution or anything multi-touch. I've noticed some advertisers analyze things a bit incorrectly over the past few months, such as not factoring out conversion delay or using too tight of a time frame to gauge performance. So a general reminder to use best practices when analyzing performance. And critical privacy features, such as enhanced conversions and Google tag, remains as important as they did with Smart Shopping. Also, any tactics you built out for identifying new customers with Smart Shopping also applies to Performance Max. From a measurement and privacy standpoint, we do want to call out that Google Analytics 4 yields more detailed Performance Max insights, as well as a bevy of other benefits beyond Performance Max data, such as predictive analytics and privacy-robust conversion measurement. Okay, so I covered various tactics that carry over from Smart Shopping campaigns, as well as some potentially new tactics with Performance Max. I want to emphasize the words potentially new. Don't be concerned if you cannot do these tactics or use these features right away. I sometimes hear concerns from advertisers about not having all their assets ready and that they think they'll see a drop in volume relative to what SSC was driving, and that isn't the case. You'll still see the same or better potential performance you had with Smart Shopping campaigns when upgrading to Performance Max, but then once you're ready, you can take advantage of the new features and tactics to get even more lift. For those eager to get started on some new tactics today, I'll pass it over to Philippe, who will dive deep into these tactics after he covers some helpful seasonal and promotional best practices.
Hi everyone, I'm Felipe. I lead Performance Max for retail in Americas, and I'm super happy to be here to present some of the main best practices for holiday season. So what we've got in our agenda today is all of the main preparations that you should be thinking about Performance Max and how to prepare for the holiday season. So we're going to get into the specifics of what type of controls and preparations and planning you should be thinking about the seasonality. Then we are going to dive into creatives. So as you know, Performance Max is really going to serve in more channels, which is really exciting. So you have to make sure that you nail the creative structure as well. And then lastly, we are going to go through some general optimization for you to continue having success. Before diving into the content, I really want to make sure that if you have a question, please add the question on this section over here. We are going to do our best to answer them all. And then if any other additional questions or recommendations, please let us know. We'll be happy to follow up afterwards. All right, let's dive into the content. We know that seasonality is one of the main and key periods of time when it comes to performance and when it comes to revenue. So we want to make sure that you have all of the main information to prepare for Performance Max. First, the main best practice that I can share, and really this is actually very easy to follow, is make sure that you do prepare in advance. Planning is going to be your best friend. So we really want to make sure that we adjust all of the Performance Max campaigns prior to the peak holiday, just because then you can continue to achieve your performance, to achieve your efficiency, and prepare for the high peak season. We're going to go through 5 different strategies for you to prepare for the holiday season. The first one is holiday campaign structure, how you should be thinking about your campaign structure. Then we're going to provide some ways for you to feature some holiday products, the ones that you want to increase visibility, how to prepare your bids and budgets. If you have a very, very high conversion rates in a specific period of time, how to use seasonality adjustments. And then lastly, how to use insights to find new opportunities and continue to optimize your campaign. Okay, so for the first one, campaign structure. Before diving into the best practice, we should be taking a step back and thinking about what is our objective? What is your objective, right? If you do have an objective of prioritizing a specific category, or if you have a specific promotion for a selected group of products, then what we recommend is having a separated campaign for this group of products and then having a lower ROAS targets. This way, you're going to be increasing the visibility, increasing the volume for this specific campaign. But this is not really required. You can continue to use your account structure if you do not have this specific objective. And then the last thing that I wanted to highlight is keep it simple. Do not have a very granular account structure, because it's going to be helpful for you after the holiday season as well to optimize and to find different new opportunities. All right, so not only thinking about account structure, when it comes to PMax, we also have asset groups. So the first best practice that I wanted to share is have a separated asset group for this specific special event. So you can add a new asset group and add different creatives, messaging your holiday products or messaging your offers and everything that you want to make sure that your users are seeing. So please have a separated asset group. We actually recommend to continue to use a generic asset group besides that, but make sure that you have and add all of the main holiday season creatives for your asset groups. We just talked about campaign structure and asset groups, but there is also an automated way for you to control how you segment the holiday products and how you feature these holiday products. So you can use custom labels in your feed to categorize if the product is a bestseller, if the product is a high margin or a holiday product. So you can categorize each one of the products in your feed. And then when creating the campaign and segmenting the campaign, you can use these custom labels to segment this group of products and avoid having to do that manually afterwards. The benefit of doing it is if you have to change some group of products in the middle of the peak season or even before the peak season, you only have to change the feed, and then all of the campaigns are going to actually target the products that you are actually segmenting for. All right, so bids and budgets. This is really, really important, right? This is one of the most important best practices when it comes to all of the automated campaigns. And this is not really different from a Performance Max campaigns as well. So first, what is your primarily holiday strategy? If you want more conversions, then having lower ROAS and higher budget is going to help you to achieve more conversions, more scale, more visibility. But then if you have a focus on efficiency, then having a higher ROAS will help you to make sure that the system is actually optimizing towards it. The only best practice that I wanted to share when changing targets and bids and budgets is to do that gradually and make sure that you do that in a minimum 4 to 6 weeks prior to the peak season, just because we want to make sure that you continue to capture all of the additional opportunities when also preparing for the holiday season. Then, besides bids and budgets, you can also use seasonality adjustments for preparation for the holiday season. So basically, seasonality adjustments is just an additional signal that you can use based on your data, and you can steer the system to prepare for that high peak in advance. So our recommendation is just to use seasonality adjustments when you do expect more than 30% conversion rate increase in a very short specific period of time, right? So basically, this feature is going to signal for the system to prepare that in advance. One example for that, let's say you have a Black Friday weekend sale, and historically you're seeing more than 30% increase in conversion rate, then that would make sense for you to add a seasonality adjustments just for this specific period of time. We do not recommend using seasonality adjustments for longer period of time, just because we know that the smart bidding is actually capable of dealing with all of these demand shifts and volatility. All right, so we have two main levers here, right? Manually adjustments and seasonality adjustments. Normally, what we see is clients using both of them or mixing both of them depending on the objectives. So let's say you have a Cyber Monday campaign and conversion rates usually double on the Cyber Monday campaign. What we can do is just manually adjust the target ROAS by half and then maintain that along the way. You can mix that with other very specific conversion rates campaigns as well. You can use seasonality adjustments for those campaigns that you expect to be higher than 30% increase. So you can basically mix both of them in order for you to achieve your objective. An additional tip, besides setting the structure and bids and budgets, is really use the auction insights and the insights tab. So this is a very recent addition to the PMax world. And this insights tab is actually going to provide you more information about auction or maybe audience persona, demand forecast, some search trends. So this report is actually going to be super helpful for you to identify new opportunities and use that to optimize your campaigns moving forward. Maybe you're seeing that there is a high search trend for a specific category that you normally sell. So you can use this information to create a new asset group or maybe creating a new campaign. Besides the insights page, we also have a new explanation insights. And this report is actually going to help you to identify main performance changes or trying to understand some performance changes in your campaigns as well, instead of digging deeper into the change history, digging deeper into the settings. So with a few clicks, you will be able to view the reasons for the performance change, and you'll be able to act on that as well. All right, we just talked about how to prepare for the holiday season in terms of bidding and seasonality adjustments and etc. But when it comes to PMax, we know that this is actually serving on more channels. So we're going to go through right now how to prepare your creatives and how to maximize your performance across the channels that Performance Max is actually serving on. First thing that I wanted to highlight is we are moving from ad formats to asset groups. What this means is that all of the asset groups that you have in your campaigns are going to be where you're actively uploading all of the creative assets, all of the texts, images, videos, everything regarding creatives are going to be living under the asset groups in your campaign. Then the machine learning is going to be able to use all of this information and pick and choose the best one based on performance. Lastly, we have a very nice tool for you to guide you to create those asset groups that is called Add Strength. And basically you can assess how complete your asset groups are and what is actually missing for you to continue to optimize them. The first best practice that I wanted to share regarding asset groups is really to have a generic asset groups at all times. We really want to make sure that these generic asset groups contains what is it that you want to highlight, what makes your brand unique, but also contains all of the products that you sell tied to this one. And then you can play out and create new ones based on category, based on seasonality, based on messages that you want to provide. So let's say that you normally sell winter sports outfit. You can create a new asset group dedicated to ski jackets and then add all of the text and images related to that. Then you can create another one dedicated to ski goggles and add all of the creatives and images for this one. You can play out and create a lot of different asset groups if needed. Here's an example of a campaign structure. I have to say that we always recommend having a simple structure just because it's going to be easier for you to optimize moving forward. So for instance, let's say in this case, we have an asset group targeting all of the products, kind of like generic creatives. This is going to be our evergreen asset group. Then we can play out and create different asset groups for category or maybe for the holiday season. Let's say we have some Black Friday messaging, Black Friday creatives. We can create one asset group specific for that. And there's another way as well to have a more advanced structure if you want. So we just talked about campaign structure a bit ago. Let's say you have high margin products campaigns, you have low margin products campaigns, and then one campaign specific for seasonality products. The one thing that we always recommend is to have this generic asset group and then add these different category-based or seasonal-based asset groups in each one of those campaigns. And this is really what is going to help you to achieve the goals that you have for each one of them. So if you have a low ROAS or a high ROAS, depending on your objective, you should be thinking about creatives as more information for the system to optimize towards that. Then the more creative assets that you provide, the more improvement you see in your performance. So the Add Strength tool is really going to make you and guide you on the best practices for having an optimal asset group. So while you are creating your asset group and uploading your assets, you're going to see this tool showing in real time how is your Add Strength and what you should be thinking on and what type of other assets you should be adding on to the asset groups. So please use that. This is a very, very helpful tool to make sure you have all of the assets and all of the information for the campaign to optimize. Tied to that, after creating the asset groups and after serving the campaign for a few weeks, you're going to see that there is a performance rating on each one of these creatives. And this report is actually going to be super helpful for you to understand what type of messaging is actually resonating better with your users and what type of creative is actually performing better. Then you can use this report to replace the low performing creatives afterwards. The only thing that I wanted to emphasize and as a best practice is do not delete the lower performance creatives right away. Make sure you upload a few creatives first and then you can delete the lower performance afterwards. Some additional settings on the asset groups are the final URL expansion. This was an additional feature, came with the Performance Max. And really, the settings allows our machine learning to select the best landing pages that has the most probability of driving performance and mix with the text and description and headlines that you provided on asset group to automatically generate some text ads. So this feature really helps you to increase your scale and increase the opportunity to capture all of the main conversions that you're probably going to have. There's a few scenarios that you can use final URL expansion. So if you want best possible performance for all of your campaigns, make sure that you leave the final URL expansion on, and it's a default feature. If you want good performance, but you don't want to serve dynamic ads on certain user searches, then our recommendation is to work with your Google Rep and use the negative keywords so you can avoid serving on those user searches. If you want good performance, but there are specific landing pages that you don't want to send traffic to, You can leave it on and you can exclude those URLs right on the setting. Then lastly, if you only can send traffic to the specific landing page, then turn this feature off and the campaign is actually going to serve only for the landing page that you selected. All right, so we've brought a few tips as well on how to build and how to create those text ads, display ads, and video. When it comes to text, you have to make sure that you introduce your product. And then how can you think about driving curiosity? You have to grab user attention. Always show benefits, always show what is unique about your product, what is unique about your brand, or what is unique about a specific feature that you're selling on. And then always use a call to action. I often see some ads without call to action. We have to make sure that we provide that for the user when they see the ad. This is not different from a display perspective, right? We have to keep it simple and we have to be focused on what is the main message that we want to provide. Then we can also engage with the content. We can use different auction shots or product images. Try to avoid using the stock photography because this is actually going to look more natural. And then lastly, we normally know that Performance Max is serving across different devices and different formats, right? So having high quality images is going to really be helpful for you to increase your performance, but also to make sure that users can see and can read your display ad. All right, so then when we're talking about video ads, we also have to grab attention early. Remember that there's a skip button, so users can skip the video if they want. So use the first 2 to 3 seconds to grab attention early to provide your main message right away. And you can also diversify content. You can play with different themes, different styles, different subjects. Remember to be really immersive. If you're showing a product, maybe show how to experience your product. Show how to use your product. That is going to be really helpful from a user perspective and also from a behavioral perspective. And then lastly, make sure that your brand is actually persistent across the video. Even though we are optimizing towards conversions and sales, users are going to be able to recall and to remember your brand afterwards. All right, so wrapping up, the main things that you have to remember when thinking about creatives and Performance Max. First thing, use all of the images, assets, and videos with all sizes possible. So this is going to be guiding by the ad strength, but I really wanted to emphasize it is going to be key for your performance. If you don't have a video, you can use YouTube Video Builder tool and then create one in 5 to 10 minutes, really drag and drop. If you have a promotional URL and if you have created a specific asset group for the holiday season, make sure you add this promotion URL in the destination URL. This way you're going to make sure that users are going directly to the promotional landing page. Use all of the extension available. Keep the final URL expansion on if that makes sense for your business. And then lastly, make sure that you have a phased approach when replacing assets. So you're going to be avoiding any campaign volatility. If you see some low performance rating creatives, add new creatives before deleting the other ones. Then, if you plan to create any specific asset groups with holiday messaging, do that at least 2 weeks in advance. That is going to prevent you to rush before the holiday season. All right, so we've went through the holiday preparation, how to prepare for the creatives and how to maximize performance across creatives. Now we're getting into overall best practices when it comes to optimization. Let's dive into it. So there's a few levers and they are actually very similar to the normal levers that we normally use for automated campaigns, but with a few additions for Performance Max. We're going to go through optimization score, budget and TROAS targets, audience signals and conversion value rules, which is new for PMax, new customer acquisition, feed quality immersion center, and then lastly, brand safety. The first thing is optimization score. So really this tool is actually built to help you to find optimization opportunities and add those optimization opportunities in scale. So we saw that advertisers who increased their account level optimization score by 10 points saw a 10% increase in conversions. This is really a lot. So this tool is actually built to help you to identify all of the recommendations and make sure that you have all of the main optimizations in place at account level and campaign level. There's an addition to that as well. We know that it's normally hard to keep track of all of the recommendations and optimizations when it comes to the account level. So you can set to auto-apply all of the main recommendations and optimization opportunities in the account by using this tool. So basically, when you click that, the Google system is going to actually add and apply all of the most impactful recommendations in your campaigns. Again, adjusting budgets to increase the scale, budget and TROAS are really going to be your main lever to optimization. So use that, always use that. If you're planning to have a lower budget for the holiday season, or if you have a lower budget for a campaign, you can adjust that. And this is actually going to control how much your campaign is going to spend. We normally recommend having a higher budget because even though you have a higher budget, it does not necessarily mean that the campaign is actually overspend that. It's not going to exceed the budget. But basically what we're going to do is provide more headroom for the system to optimize towards your objective. The same applies for TROAS goals, right? If you have your objective to make sure you bring more conversions, more revenue, more GMV, then using a lower ROAS targets will help you to be more aggressive in bids and enter more auctions. On the other side as well, if you're focusing on more efficiency, if you set a higher ROAS, this is actually going to make sure that the system is actually selecting which one of the auctions to participate in order for you to achieve your objective. Then audience signals. This is a new feature for Performance Max and a really exciting one. With audience signals, you can use your remarketing lists, your customer match information, and use this data to speed up the campaign learning period and also steer the machine to target user similars or to achieve more of your goals. So our recommendation here is really use all of the remarketing lists and customer match data. Use your own audiences because this is going to really help you to optimize your campaigns. You can add audience signals at an asset group level, and then going back to the account structure and asset group structure, let's say you have a specific asset group for holiday season. Make sure you add remarketing lists to this asset group because this is going to help the algorithm and the machine learning to optimize better. We can also combine audience signals with conversion value rules. This is a more advanced way to set up additional value information for the system to optimize towards. So you can set up conversion value rules for audience, geolocation, or device. For instance, if you have a specific geolocation that you want to add more value or that you know that users are buying more or you want to prioritize, then you can add a specific additional value for this geolocation or maybe even a multiplier. This is an additional setting that you can use for Performance Max campaign. Then moving forward, we all know that Performance Max is actually going to optimize towards maximizing revenue and bringing your performance objectives. And we just introduced two new goals, two new ways for you to optimize it. So we have the new customer value mode, which basically the system is going to bid higher for new customers than existing. It is going to continue to optimize towards maximizing online sales. It's going to serve for existing customers, but then if there's an opportunity for the system to acquire a new customer, then it's going to bid higher for that in order for you to acquire it. And then on the other side, you can also use a new specific bid strategy to only bid for new customers. Let's say you have this specific goal or you have a budget only for new customers because you want to increase your customer base, then you can use this goal and the campaign is only going to optimize towards that. All right, so we all know that feed optimization is going to be really, really important. The quality of your campaign is only as good as the information you provide, both from a feed perspective, from a creative perspective, from an audience perspective. But when it comes to the feed, make sure that you add all of the products that you have, optimize your titles, make sure the descriptions are clear, and has all of the specifics about your products. The images are in high quality. You have all of the recommended attributes as well. There's a lot of optional attributes that can help you to surface if the sales price is down or if there's a promotional price. So please do take a look on the recommended attributes. That is going to be super helpful for you. And of course, use custom labels so you can automate some of the manual process and some of the optimization afterwards. Remember, the feed is going to be the heart of Performance Max. So use Google Merchant Center diagnostics reports to help you to guide on those optimizations. You can fix products that are not eligible or maybe they are disapproved. Just take a look every single time on the diagnostics pages, because this is actually where you're gonna see if there's an opportunity for you to optimize your feed. And feed hygiene is actually going to be super important moving forward. Lastly, we all know that brand safety is a really, really important subject. So make sure that you do have all of the accounts level exclusions in Performance Max before the holiday season. And make sure that you also take a look on that every week, or depending on how you normally use that. So we have a few account level exclusions that you can add. Placement exclusions, let's say specific pages, sites that you do not want to serve on. Content exclusions, digital content labels, keywords. Those are all account level exclusions that you should be thinking on when it comes to brand safety. Do take a look on those controls. Make sure that you have all of those in place and you'll be good to go. Thank you so much for joining Think Retail 2022. I hope this session was helpful for you. We talk soon.